So originally I had an idea of creating a video about 10 houseplants that are great for people that travel frequently. We just returned from 2 months over in Colombia introducing our little 7-month-old baby to my wife's family. And over the years I've spent various long chunks of time down there, and finding someone to take care of my 100+ houseplants is always a stressful thing to do. So as I was planning this video, I thought, all right, 10 plants that can easily go for even 6 weeks without being watered is great. But as I was making the list, I realized not only can they go a really long time without water, these are also some of the most low maintenance, easy plants to grow. So if you're a traveler or just looking for great, easy to grow house plants that will generally do well in pretty much any sort of indoor conditions, this is the list that you want to watch. So the first one on the list is a bit of a sleeper. It doesn't make many best houseplant lists, but it's one of my all-time favorites. And that would be this beautiful plant. This is the Clivia miniata. This is a member of the Amaryllis family. And this is a plant that can absolutely just withstand some of the worst conditions. I recently transplanted it. It had been in a pot in the same pot for about 5 years. There was literally 4 inches of roots wrapped around the bottom of the plant. It didn't care at all. It was very difficult for it to get watered at all. But I cut them off, transplanted it, and 2 weeks later, it started to produce this beautiful spike of flowers, which we are enjoying right now. It's a plant that loves to be pot bound, and many times plants that love to be pot bound can go long periods of time without water. Here we have Boccarnea recurvata. This is the ponytail palm or the elephant foot palm. It's native to some of the dry, deserty areas around Mexico, and it's actually a member of the asparagus family, not a true palm. But what makes this plant so special is that fat belly caudex, that really thick trunk. That's where it actually stores a lot of water. That allows it to be happy without being watered for many weeks on end. Now it will benefit from a cutbacking of its foliage once in a while, and when you do that, it actually makes that belly get thicker, which is also very fun. It really does well in bright conditions or dim conditions. The Schefflera arboricola, or the dwarf umbrella tree. This is the small leaf version of the Schefflera. To me, this is just one of the most greatest houseplants. It's so happy all the time. It's such a low maintenance, fun-loving plant. I love the shape. I love the thick, textured foliage. And you can tell by just touching that foliage that it stores water very well. It's really thick and leathery, so obviously, it must be able to hold a lot of water within its foliage, and that's what allows it to go really long periods of time without water. It's also a cinch to propagate. If you've never propagated before, this is a great plant to do your first propagation experiment. Now, the Pothos, or the Epipremnum aureum, it's one of the classic beginner plants because it really does well in dark areas around the home as well as bright areas, and it can go a really long time without water, for sure. It's a member of the aroid family, and I find that it does absolute best when you really just give it a place like here where it can really overflow, and that's when the plant is really looking its finest. Or on pedestals like this, it's phenomenally beautiful. It really does not like being overwatered though. Hence, it likes to be underwatered or go long periods of time without being watered. Now, funnily enough, the Pachira, or the money tree, is actually native to like swampy areas or along riversides in Central and South America. So you'd think that'd be a plant that really loves a lot of water, but it's actually the opposite. It really likes to stay on the dry side. As I mentioned, we were just in Colombia for 2 months, and this particular plant, which is outside of the rest of our main collection on our first floor, it wasn't watered for 2 entire months. 2 entire months, didn't get any water, and it was totally fine. This is another plant that likes, like that ponytail palm, once in a while they start to get quite leggy. You want to chop them back. And for many of the plants on this list, I have individual videos which will go into a lot more detail on certain techniques like that cutting back. So check the video description below and you'll find links to all of these different videos. The Dracena fragrans, or the corn plant, this is very close to heart. My family, we've been in the plant trade since the 1960s, and this was actually the plant that got our business started by my great-grandmother. And we still sell lots of them today because they are one of the longest lived houseplants. They really thrive on neglect. You can put them in a dark corner, a bright corner. You can go 2 months without giving them water. They're really beautiful, very low maintenance. And because it is like truly like a tree or a large shrub out in nature, out in Africa where it's native to, they do grow for a very long time, and they can actually get quite tall. Generally, you know, if you have it long enough, eventually it will reach your ceiling. Now, if you're watching this channel, you definitely know Monstera deliciosa, the Swiss cheese plant. And this would not be on the list unless we're talking about a mature plant. So this definitely has an asterisk by it. The young plants should generally be grown in smaller pots, and you really want to kind of like, you know, make sure they're not going too long without water. But once they really reach a mature state and they're really kind of at their maximum size in your home, they should be grown in a quite large container like mine. And when they're grown in those large containers, they definitely will go long periods of time without being watered, no problem. You can see here it's in a really dark, dimly lit corner, and it loves it here. It's just growing and growing and growing. Snake plants, or the mother-in-law tongue, this is another recent addition to the Dracaena genus. It used to be Sansevieria, but now it's another Dracaena, and it has a really special mechanism. So on the foliage, the plant cells have things that are called stomata, and stomata is what allows for water to be released out of the foliage. Now most plants, those stomata will open and close throughout the day and night. Snake plants, though, their stomata do not open during the day, and that allows them to really conserve a lot of the moisture, and that's what allows them to be very drought tolerant, both out in the wild as well as in our homes. In fact, my uncle, at his townhouse, he was gone for 3 months. He put it in his basement, closed all of the blinds. It was totally dark. No one watered it. Came back 3 months later, it was perfectly fine. The ZZ plant is another member of the aroid family like we saw earlier, but this is actually a succulent member. You can see just by looking at that foliage, it looks really succulent. Like if you were to pry open one of those leaves, it would be like really nice and juicy. This is another plant that does great in low light. I have it growing under a grow light because I want to I've been growing this for so long. It's such a slow grower. That's the main downside of this plant. It grows very slow, and that's also why they're quite expensive when you find them at your nurseries. But it lives for a very long time, and they really do well without much water for long periods of time. And that thick, glossy foliage, it's divine. And finally is the Amaryllis, or the hippie astrum. This is a bit of a wild card because it doesn't necessarily fit on the low maintenance side of the spectrum. If you're trying to encourage flowers from one year to the next, you do have to go through a little bit of a maneuvering to really encourage those flowers. But if you do that, that's really lovely. However, I find that their thick, strappy green foliage is really beautiful just as a house plant, just as a foliage plant, I should say. And I love them so much that I even hybridized my own Amaryllis. I've been growing these from, I took pollen from one flower and added it to the pistils of another flower, generated seeds during that process, took those seeds, sprouted them, and those seeds have since grown into these golf ball sized bulbs. Haven't gotten any flowers yet, but it's about 4 years in the making, so hopefully soon. But they're fantastic, fantastic plants to grow indoors. Nothing makes flowers quite like an Amaryllis inside the home, so it's also extremely easy to grow. The only way you can kill them is to overwater them, so underwater them. And with that, now you know 10 of my personal favorite plants. If you love to travel, give these some water, head to the airport, come back a month later, they're gonna be fine. Don't worry about hiring the neighbor next door's daughter to come water your plants, or finding a friend that's generous enough to give you their time to do so. Or if you're just a beginner gardener looking for some great, beautiful, easy to grow plants, well, this was your list. If you have any additions to this list, definitely leave them down in the comment section below. And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, we have close to 1,000 videos, house plants, outdoor plants, edible plants, everything about Mother Nature. Anyways, thanks for joining me here on Plant Vibrations. I'll catch you next time. Ciao.